Hello and welcome to another episode of the Appelboom Bites podcast. Today is a unique episode, so make sure to watch the entire episode because we have two amazing guests. The first one is our co-host that will be with us for the upcoming few weeks. It is the one and only SBREBrown.
I've heard of him.
Wow, Stephen, how are you?
I am pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah. How about you?
I'm fine, thank you so much. But Stephen, of course, we are not here just alone with the two of us, but we have an amazing special guest because it is Eric. Eric, thank you so much for having the time and sitting here with us. How are you doing?
I am doing exceptionally well. I thought for sure you were going to try to say my last name.
I can try
No.
that.
Nobody tries that.
Nobody tries that.
It's too hard.
You want me to try that?
Yeah, go ahead.
It's Orozco, right?
Yeah, perfect. Very good. He did it. Nailed it.
Wow.
Stephen, you're also... Stephen, gosh, I haven't seen you in forever.
I
But
know.
you're supposed to tell us about the weather where you are, because whether it's
Yeah.
extremely cold or just pretty cold.
Today is pretty cold, but not extremely cold.
Not
So
extremely, okay.
that's pretty good. Just now, a moose walked in front of the window wearing a little scarf. So I think they're no, it's not that bad, but it is. It's what I tell you was interesting. I was out this morning and there were birds singing. So that might mean that spring is about to break out or something. There is something
It
happening.
will be there soon.
Exactly.
It's going to happen.
So-
It's going to happen.
Pretty good.
It's
Yeah.
going to happen. There's nothing we can do to stop it.
No.
But before we start this whole conversation, this entire podcast, there's always one thing that we do first, and that's the pen check.
The pen check.
And Stephen, do you want to start with your pen check this week?
Yes, I can indeed start
Do
with.
you even have a pen, Stephen?
I have one or two pens within arm's length, and I have specifically selected this, which I have been using. Here is my Conid Trio, which is a special type of pen. It's a Conid, but the nib is Danny Trio, so it's Conid Trio. Okay, given that did not work, I'll just move forward with this. Look at this. Look at this pretty nib. Now, the reason this nib is so special and was more or less selected specifically for today is that this was on a pen that I bought from Eric many years ago when the west wind moves upon the fields of barley. So this is actually a Danny Trio nib that someone, a dear friend here, Wacko Jacko, has installed on this Conid. And now I have Conid with a Danny Trio nib. What's the point, you ask? I don't know, but when I figure out, I will tell you. So that's my
No,
pen
that's
check.
not what I want to ask. What I want to ask is what happened to the pen I sold you, the Danny Trio.
Yeah, I threw that out. I didn't like.
Is
No.
that
I
one
had
of the
I
pens
had
you
it.
destroyed?
The thing, no, I have it. It's just that it's very bulbous. It's very girthy, and as a result, I didn't find myself using it a lot because it didn't fit into a lot of pen cases. So I thought, if only I were to have a pen that could take that nib, that was a little slimmer, I could use it more.
It
Now
is
I
a
use it all
lovely
the time.
nib.
It's a
It's a
wonderful nib.
lovely nib, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I can get on board with your
No.
your reason for taking it out. This is from a man who uses probably on a daily basis a Namiki Emperor.
Yeah, I know, and it's so
So-
it's, but look at it this way. By doing this, I get to use the nib more. So you, as my dear friend, are now close to my heart every day when I use this pen. Isn't that a wonderful? Isn't that a wonderful thing?
So, but the pen I sold you is sitting somewhere without a nib. The poor thing.
No, that now has a Conid nib. So that's
Oh,
a.
does it?
So,
So-
this is
The
this
So
next
you,
is
you.
so you have
the
two
Coney
Frankenstein pens now.
Trio. Exactly. This is the
Wow.
Coney Trio, and that's the Danid.
The Danid. Very
Because
good.
otherwise it doesn't work, does it?
You have far too much time on your hands.
Yeah, I know.
This episode is going to be a long, long episode. I think.
Yes.
Okay. Eric, what pen
Yes.
do you carry with you today?
Well, I have several on my desk, but the one I'm going to hold up in front of the camera is a little tiny pen.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
it probably looks very big, but if I hold it next to me, you see it's a very tiny pen.
Yeah.
This
Is that how perspective works?
Can you tell me what this is, Dr. Brown?
Yeah, that's a Pelican M1000. It's the new one, the black
Exactly. Wait till you see the nib in this thing. This is a Mont Blanc Rouge et Noir. This is what they're
Did,
calling the baby.
did you get a baby, Eric?
Yes, I've had a baby since I last saw you. You've had a baby too. This is a slip cap. And of course, that's a TWSBI nib in there. So I'm sure you can see that. And to use it, I post it because they were kind enough to make it threaded, and so it becomes a very useful pen. Now, probably not for Dr. Brown because of his hand size, but for me, it's perfect. And I got a medium, which is like a magic marker because it's a Mont Blanc, and it puts a lot of ink on the paper. And I love this pen. I got this pen in Madrid at the Madrid pen show. Because I had been looking for one and they're difficult to find. And there it was at a retailer. And I said, how much? Take my money. And so there you go. But it's really a pocket pen, a true pocket pen.
It's really small.
And everyone should get one. It also comes in white, by the way, which I'm sure the two of you know. And the white is stunning. You wouldn't think so, but when you see it, the white is stunning. But I chose black.
And
there you have it.
Yeah. It's a wonderful pen. I really like it. And you're correct. It's really hard to get. So we have some back orders with Mola. Still waiting for them, but hopefully they arrive anytime soon.
Since this has come up about difficult things to find from Mont Blanc, can anybody get their hands on a 146 with the flexible nib? I don't mean the higher end lacquer,
not
red
the solitaire
lacquer
one, just the regular one.
I'm talking about the
resin
black 146 that I cannot find anywhere.
Well, we cannot help you with it because we also don't have it.
We cannot help you.
So, but if anybody that's listening to the show here in the world can help Eric out, make sure to say something in the comments below and we will contact you, get you in touch with Eric, and then you can make him happy. So
I know someone here. I know someone here who has one. He just lent it to me so I could review it. I don't know if he's looking to sell it, but I can ask. Also, what I would recommend is buy a normal 146 with a normal nib, and that will flex once.
Yes. I've already done that, though.
So that's not a problem.
The joy is gone.
Oh, yeah. Well, in that case, I'll ask.
I also know someone in Canada who has one. But he can't part with it, so that doesn't help me at all.
Then you're stuck.
Joost, your turn to speak.
It's my turn to speak? Okay, all right. Let's do my pen check in that case. I have a beautiful pen here, which is the Aurora Volterra, and it is part of the series of Aurora that goes all the way to all the beautiful destinations in Italy. And this is the Volterra. It's a nice city. It's near Pisa in the Tuscany region. And what I really like about this is the ivory body with the rose gold or red gold details, which is pretty nice, I think. As you can see, oh no, you cannot see it, but the nib is also rose gold, and it has a fine nib on it. I love it.
Is that an Edison nib?
Yeah, of course. You know, it's a Montegrappa nib, so that's I keep it I keep it Italian. So, but I really like this color combination, and the ivory is a little bit translucent. I don't know how you say it in English, but it's semi-translucent, so you can see the nib sitting there. If you have I don't know if you can see it, but you see it over there? It's there. So you can still see it in there when the cap is on the pen. So that's my pen check. Eric, I have a question for you from our previous guest.
Oh, no.
And
from the previous guest.
Yes. And
who did not know who the next guest would be when this question was.
That's correct. Have you seen our previous episode?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I wanted to mention something about his air compressor and the way he destroys pen. So before you ask me his question, Stephen, when did we go to the DC Pen Show? What year? Do you remember off the top of your head?
Yeah, that was 2012. You and I were there.
In 2012, we went to the DC Pen Show, bought all kinds of pens. I think I walked away with 10 or 12.
Yeah, me too.
One of them was that Pelican. We both bought a Pelican.
Yes, the 400 NN. Yes, the tortoise.
Yeah, the double N. right after DC, I went to Brian Gray's shop in Ohio. And since I had that pen, I wanted to clean it really nicely in his shop, and I cleaned it really well. Then he had this air compressor, and I thought, I'm going to get the barrel really dry. Put the little end in the barrel, gave it just a little tiny air. It shot across the room. As Brian said, I was just, testing testing it for safety. It survived, but
Oh,
I'll
wow.
never forget the look on my face, even though I didn't see it. Shocked me. Anyway, what was Brian's question to the next
Yeah,
guest?
so Brian, question for you is, what pen in your collection would you send to orbit?
Well, I don't have an Edison pen at the moment that I would do that with. If I had to, it would be a TWSBI because it's easily replaceable.
That's true. Yeah, makes sense.
So
Makes
that was my only criteria.
Yeah.
Is it replaceable? It can go to orbit.
That's true. But
Could it
actually,
be a TWSBI with a Pelican nib?
I don't have one, but
Well, in that case, don't worry about it.
so I won't worry about it. But I'll send you my TWSBI. You can put a Pelican nib in it, since that seems to be what you're doing these days.
all right. Thank you for that answer, Eric. Now I'm sitting with two guys of the original FPGeeks podcast, which is quite unique because you were like the OGs in the fountain pen podcast world. So nowadays everybody has a podcast, but back in the days, and I'm talking about 2000, when did it start? 2012, something like that?
Or 2011?
I think probably 2011, because then I was brought on around 2012, yeah.
So 2000.
Yeah, because you were also doing FPGeeks started, and you were doing your pen reviews. So whenever you started your pen reviews, they sort of started at the same time.
2011, yeah. I think that's right, 2011.
Quite some time ago now.
So long ago.
Yes.
So now everybody can see here pictures in the screen of a young Stephen and a young Eric. What changed in the world in the last 12 years?
We're still young.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were good times. As Joost said, there weren't many people doing video podcasts, at least, of pens.
Mm-hmm.
Stephen's pen reviews, I'll tell you what I think. I'll tell you what I like. I'll tell you what I don't like, and we'll do a writing sample. We're doing extremely well. We had a lot of fun on FPGeeks. I forget, I must have just sent you an email, Stephen, asked you if you wanted to be on FPGeeks, and then you took over, of course.
Yeah, I think it was very much something like that. Yeah, I remember being invited. I know that at that point there were some sort of regulars on the podcast as guests. There was Brian Gray that we had last week.
Brian Gray was a regular, yes.
There was Greg Manuskin. It was always fun. There was another
Sarge, yeah.
Sarge Minhas, and the other Brian Anderson. So yeah, and Lisa Anderson too, by the way. So yeah, no, I know. I remember it was certainly very interesting, and I think not only was it interesting because it's true that not a lot of people were doing something like that at the time, but I also feel that it has led to one of the most, frankly, foundational friendships in my life. And I'm not just saying that because Eric is sitting here.
You mean with Dan Smith, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then there was that other guy whose name I forget. But it's important, and I think a really good friendship is one, to me, like the one Eric and I have, where, as Eric said, we have now, for all sorts of reasons, not spoken to each other for a while. But to me, it feels like I spoke to you yesterday. So I mean, I think that is the mark of a good friendship.
That is a key to a remarkable friendship, is that it doesn't really matter if we don't speak for 3 months.
Yeah.
We just pick up wherever we were.
Yeah.
And that is the nature of our remarkable friendship. And yes, we do have FPGeeks to thank for that. And of course, your amazing talent.
Well, we do have FPGeeks to thank for that. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. No, but it has been fun, and I think it's, what I find interesting is that it's it was a really big thing, and of course, at some point, it kind of tapered down, and it stopped being a podcast. But I still get people who contact me who refer to it, that it's something they have watched, and that they and what I find most interesting about that is not the content, it's not what we did, but that it was so long ago. It feels like to me that was just last year, but indeed at this point it has been over a decade. So it's interesting.
Over a decade, that is
It's
surprising.
almost time for a reunion, huh?
Yeah, maybe that should happen.
You know, the Spice Girls can do it,
This
then
does kind of
FPGeeks
look
can
like a
also do
reunion.
it, right?
Yeah, that's right. We can launch a whole new album and do an hour with
The
geeks,
reunion
something.
tour.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
It was a lot of fun, I think, because we were able to have guests on because we were not competition of any kind. We were not selling pens. We were just fans of pens, and we wanted to talk to everybody, and people liked talking to us, and we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of weeks where we just laughed the whole time.
Yeah.
We had games, we had call-ins where people could this is good times. Good times.
It was a wonderful time. Actually, it was
Because,
also how I met you, Stephen, because so I saw the videos and I was like, hey, but I don't know, I'm not sure which Mont Blanc ink it was anymore, but there was a new Mont Blanc ink, and I was like, okay, we got this new Mont Blanc ink in, and I just contacted you like, hey, Steven, I got this new Mont Blanc ink in. Shall I send it over to you so you know you can discuss it on the podcast and talk a little bit about it? And I was like, yeah, let's see what happens. So, and after that, we shipped like thousands of pens or something to you, which
No, absolutely. So, and that too has become a friendship. At least I would like to think so. So, I mean, it is remarkable. I think for me, one of the most interesting experiences about the whole thing in using fountain pens and doing this sort of stuff is finding out that there is a whole community of like-minded people out there that find this interesting and find it enough to make it a part of a lifestyle that goes beyond, well, I like to use a fountain pen. I have one fountain, but people who really find that as part of their identity. And that I certainly never expected when I started out with this, but that I think is very interesting, and that certainly creates for an interesting dynamic with people that you meet and people who are part of that group, I think.
No, it's really fun to see. So today we also had a pen meet in Lara, so that's why I now look a little bit tired. But there were like 50 people coming to the pen meet, so we didn't host it in the store itself, but in the restaurant next to the store. But it's fun how you see how a community is growing and growing, because I could not have imagined that we had a pen meet with 50 people coming to Lara, because Eric, you probably don't know it, but Lara is really hard to get by public transport or stuff like that. So it's a really...
I do know that. That's the reason I have never been to your store.
Oh, is that a reason?
Yes, I was always dissuaded from my desire to go. It's so far away, so hard to get to.
It's no problem. Now we also have a store in
do
Boston.
A Dutch store one day.
In Boston, it's more easy for you to visit, right?
50 people is a lot of people for any kind of a pen meet, but especially for one that is out of the way. Did people come just for the day, or are they spending the weekend?
No, it was just for the...
And the reason I ask is because I think that pen shows are popular, not just because of the pens, but because it's a social event, and you go to see people that in real life that you only see in YouTube or in videos or read about on blogs. You really do get to know people at pen shows and hang out with them. And so I think that the biggest part of a pen show is the social part of it. And so that's what you're having with a pen meet.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. And there were a lot of new people coming to the pen meet today. So that was also really interesting for us to see. So the group of people, like the age of them, if you look at them globally, how do I say this nicely? They get younger and younger. So that's good, I think.
It's important because that's how something that is an interest like this stays alive.
Mm-hmm.
And I've certainly seen that. I will honestly say it's been probably 5 years that I was at a pen show, but I mean, I've seen that at pen shows too, that you see a younger demographic of people, and I can sort of see it a little bit in my YouTube stuff, where you
Mm-hmm.
can see the ages of the people who view you. There certainly is a younger aspect to that group, and I think it is important. Otherwise, it's fountain pens are something that will die out.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're getting older. Eric is ancient. I mean, like think about how ancient. But I mean, think about the like, right? I mean, we all get older. So if we don't pass on that passion, then it could die out. So I think it's great. Plus 50
It's
people.
not
That's
going
like half
anywhere.
the Netherlands that showed up. So I mean, that's pretty awesome.
That's true.
It really is astounding. Were you giving away free pens or something? Why did people show up?
He was giving away
I can
146s with flex nibs, but
Yeah.
unfortunately you
Flex
missed out,
nibs.
Eric.
Too
So
bad.
I'm sorry.
It was just today. I can verify, Stephen, that the demographics are leaning younger. I know this because of the Philadelphia Pen Show that I run, and I sit at the registration desk and I see everybody that comes in. And I've been doing that for 8 years, and they are getting younger and younger. And more people are saying, this is my first pen show. And that's always fun for everybody. So it used to be 5 people would say, this is my first pen show. I think last month we had 50 people tell us, this is my first pen show. And yeah, they probably come for the pens, but they leave saying, hey, that was fun, because of the social aspect, where you get to hang around with people who understand your strange passion.
No, it is
But
definitely
yeah,
true.
I am upset that I didn't get to go to the pen meet there with 50 people. Not because of pens, but because of the people.
Next time,
We'll make it happen one day. We'll do a Dutch
Is
tour.
that something you do? Is that something you do once a month?
No,
I can make
so
arrangements.
we organized the Dutch Pen Show together with some other stores in the Netherlands. And what we kind of do, so we have the Dutch Pen Show in June, 4th of June, by the way. So everybody that want to come over, 4th of June, you have to be in Utrecht for the Dutch Pen Show. And then across the year, we have pen meets with the different kind of stores. So now it happened to be in Laren, but there was also a pen meet in Amsterdam with Akkerman. There was one in Diest with Sakura Gallery in Belgium. So it's like the I wouldn't say the Dutch Pen Show on tour, but it's like that group that is part of the Dutch Pen Show. They organize the pen meets, so it's really good.
I think you really should bill it as the Dutch Pen Show on tour. That's the way you should go. That's what it is.
Could I just, sorry not to say something really grave, but I understood that Jeanne van Putten very recently passed away.
Yep.
She was the organizer of the Tilburg Pen Show, and from what I understood, people may have noticed, I've not been in the Netherlands for a couple of years, so I didn't go to the pen shows. But I also understood that the Tilburg Pen Show more or less disappeared, is what a friend told me. But then I read just yesterday on Facebook that she had passed away. So that was sad, because she organized that show. Initially, her dad, as I understand it, and then she kind of took over. But that pen show ran for almost 3 decades. So it's sad that she passed
Yeah, it's
away.
really sad.
Sorry not to make this
Did
super depressing, but
but people in the pen community do pass away.
They do pass away
from time to time. We lost quite a few last year. Big players, well-known people.
Anyway, so now there is the Dutch Pen Show, and now there is no other Dutch Pen Show, I assume, because I'm taking the Tilburg Pen Show is really.
Yeah, but the Tilburg Pen Show, they
Yeah.
stopped with the show. Sean stopped with the show already pre-COVID. So it was 2019 or something was the last Tilburg Pen Show.
Right.
So it was already quite some time. But it's in it really sad. And it's also really strange because in my head, Sean was not really like an old lady or something. I can still imagine her walking on the show like she was always there. So it's indeed really sad. It's
filled with energy.
It's really strange to read messages like that. Like, yeah, but it's still part of life. So
Yeah,
it happens.
absolutely.
All right. Before this is going to be a really
Well, that kind of killed the
depressing
evening.
show.
Moving on. Sorry.
Well, moving right along, June 4th is the date that I heard for the
Yes,
Dutch
that's
pen
correct.
show.
Let's talk a little bit about new products to give the show a little bit of a new stimulants, like a happy feeling.
New products.
We already talked a little bit about new people coming to the pen shows. That's really what's happening nowadays. A lot of new people joining the fountain pen community, and for new people, they mostly like the entry level pens that TWSBI offers, and that Eric wants to shoot into orbit.
Because it's replacing
one of them just recently launched, and it is the Eco T Saffron, which I have here, and it's a beautiful new color. It's in the Eco T series, so as you can see here, it is different than the Eco, because I also have the Eco with me for a reference of the color, because as you can see here, if I have them next to each other, the one is more yellowish and this one is more oranges, but they're both really beautiful. As you can see, this one is the Eco, this is the Eco T, this is the Saffron, this is the new one. This one is sold out, no longer available, but just the color here for reference so that everybody knows how it looks like. So that's a new TWSBI that's just launched and just came in.
Very nice.
It's
a nice orange.
It's a really nice orange, and of course, since I'm in the Netherlands, orange is always a good color.
Now, I don't know that I would have called it
It's
orange.
saffron.
Would you call it saffron?
They call it saffron, and it's a form of yellow to me. But I guess what is orange but a shade of brown, right?
Everything at the end of the day is some sort of shade of brown.
We should spend just a moment letting everybody know who might be new to fountain pens that TWSBI makes a very nice product.
Yeah,
that's true.
TWSBI makes a very nice product.
Yes, TWSBI makes a very nice product,
and
they're affordable.
And they're
so affordable you can afford to send them into outer space.
That's also really important.
That should be that tagline. Our pens are so affordable you can send them into outer space.
Launch them into orbit. There is a difference between an Eco and an Eco T. I think it has something to do with the section, but I could be wrong.
That's correct.
The grip section there's a small difference. Not that it makes any difference in usage, I don't think. And I think the pricing is the same.
The pricing is the same, but the Eco T has this grip section like you have with the Lamy Safaris and All Stars.
Yeah, it's a little triangular.
That's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Hence the T.
Helps. Hence the T. Helps you hold the pen correctly, I imagine, as they're thinking on that. And I do think they picked the right name for the Saffron, because it is selling very quickly. I wasn't really in love with the color, but they called it Saffron, and suddenly I like the pen.
You're that easy?
Such is marketing.
I am that easy, yes. You call a pen a baby, and I have to.
So the next Mont Blanc Saffron, you just buy it. It doesn't even matter how it looks like.
Yes.
As long as it is a 146 and it has a calligraphy nib on it, then it's okay.
Well, that would be bonus. Even it could come without it. It could come with a Danny Trio.
You don't care.
Call it Saffron.
Wonderful. All right. Other two products that I wanted to discuss is the first one is the Kaweco Bronze Sport. In one of our first episodes of our podcast series, we had this wonderful gentleman, Michael Goodberley, on the show, who already showed us a little bit, because he had it here in his pocket, this actual pen, and he showed it to me after the show, because he wasn't allowed to show it yet to everybody, because otherwise everybody would have been mad at him, of course. But it looks really cool, and he told me, but this was all not recorded, so I couldn't I cannot show it here anymore, but he told me that a lot of people requested him to make this Bronze Sport, so he was really happy to now finally launch it and make everybody happy. And yeah, I think it's great, right? What do you guys think?
I like sports.
Well, all the Kawecos. I like all the Kawecos, the sports, the all sports, the because of their size. For some reason, I like pocket pens that actually fit in your pocket. And if they're metal, even better. And Kaweco is an excellent brand. They know what they're doing, and they've been doing it for a long time.
And bronze is nice. Bronze is nice, I think. Nice material. It ages nicely in sort of patinas. So I think it would be...
It's really cool. All right, another Kaweco that I also don't have here, Eric, is it's a new collection sport, and the name, I hope that I pronounce it correctly, the Toyama Teal. It's a 2023 special edition collection sport. It is made of plastic, but it is a beautiful teal color, and I don't have it here, Eric, so don't ask me. But what do you think of this beautiful color, Eric? Because it's not saffron, but still.
No, but it is teal, and teal is very nice. And it's coming out, the release date is March 2nd. It has some iridescence to it. They call it iridescent pearls. I don't know. They put something in the plastic so that as the light hits it and changes, it has some iridescence to it. And a very affordable, beautiful pen. I don't know how I will be able to say no to this pen, just because it's
of course
pretty.
I've heard it's ground up pearl they put in.
It could be. It could be.
Yeah.
We'll start that rumor anyway.
Yeah, well, we did just now. So yes, that's it's ground up pearl, and it's not. The color does look very nice. I did see pictures of it. It looks very nice. So, and I think what Kaweco does is really clever with making these really affordable. I know some of them are sort of with sports. They're really affordable. They're very collectible because they have new colors every year, and they have nice colors, not just
they're really collectible. They have
minor
two new
little
colors every
variations
year
on the same thing.
Yeah.
That's I mean, that's cool, and it's collectible. It's fun. It's a cute pen. You don't have to spend $5,000 on it. It's doable. It's achievable. And I think that's really nice.
Eric,
So,
question for you:
nice.
Can you send a Kaweco Sport to orbit or not?
Well, probably because it would survive.
Yeah.
That's a tough little pen.
It will come back to you.
Yes, it will come back. Search and rescue would find it in one piece.
All right. Stephen, before we're ending the show, you have a question for Eric.
Yeah. The question I was reminded of yesterday when I was reading many things. And the question is, Eric, would you prefer to rule in hell or to serve in heaven?
Oh, rule in hell, of course.
Well, there you go. Well, that was...
I don't even have to think about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's an interesting question to ask people because they have...
What is your answer,
I get very
Stephen?
different
What's your
answers
answer,
depending
Stephen, on this?
Yeah. Well, I think people have
he's going
this...
to think about it. I mean, if I were ruling in hell, I would be in charge, right? So first thing we do is we put out the fire, we get some air conditioning.
Yeah.
Things would change.
Get
I would
better
be
food.
ruling in hell.
Get a
it would
union.
be my place. Yeah.
But you see, but that's interesting thinking, right? It's like I like that. It's like you would rule, but you would try to work good into what you are doing and would try to make the place where you're at, which is probably the worst place someone could be, make it
absolutely.
better.
When they coined the phrase benevolent dictator, they were thinking of me.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
So you both want to
think
rule in
so.
hell, but what fountain pen? What
Stephen has
fountain
not yet
pen?
commented.
Yeah,
No,
of
I
course.
think sure.
Of
Yeah,
course,
no,
Stephen
I think I like Eric's reasoning.
Stephen loves hell. Stephen is.
Yeah, because
he is
hell,
already.
You just hear my opening music all the time, just amplified,
That's
and
right.
I'll tell you what I like about it, which is nothing because it's hell, and then I'll tell you what I don't like about it. So yeah. No,
But what fountain pen would you use in hell?
Plus to be...
probably something. Let me. I think this would be most appropriate. It's red, so I think that would go
It
well
is
in
red.
hell.
And that
Right.
pen belongs there.
Yeah, exactly. I knew Eric was going to say that. That's why I particularly wanted to point that out. Yeah. Oh, there we go. The hell pen.
So that was my question. That was too easy.
Yeah, well, I mean, I can't be on all the time, Eric. Like, I mean, I try, but you know, maybe we should
This is
ask you.
unusual.
Maybe we should
Yes.
ask
Oh
you
gosh. Should have kept my
a
mouth
more
shut.
pen-related question, though. So very quickly, 2 for the price of 1. What would hell look like to you? Would it be writing forever with a classic pen's LB5, or would it be writing forever with a Mont Blanc with a double broad nib? What's more hellish to you? An LB5 with a nice fine nib, which you like, or a Mont Blanc with a double broad nib, which you hate, but you hate the LB5. So
the
I really
LB5 would be more hellish.
Yeah. I knew you.
If I had only those 2 options, yes.
Everyone is entitled to their opinion. It's just a shame that some opinions are wrong, but that's okay, right? I'm sorry.
What would your choice be?
Well, I like both pens, so I don't think either of this would be hell for me. But if it would really be an LB5 with a fine nib, being Japanese nib, being very very fine, I would probably find that more hellish, even though I like the pen. Extra fines are just. Although I will say I've come to appreciate fines more and more. I don't know what's happening to me.
You're getting older, Stephen. That's what happened.
I guess I'm getting older. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, you become more tolerant. You either find yourself shouting at the TV, going like, "Oh, that's just why that's wrong. Why would you even what's going on?" Yeah, you see, and or you get milder and it's like fine then. Yeah, that's fun. So.
Well, I have branched out as well. I generally speaking like extra fine and fine because my handwriting is smallish, and I really enjoy extra fine and fine when I'm writing like in a hobonichi, where you don't want a lot of ink on the paper and you want to write. They give you squares that are really tiny, so a small nib is great for that. I have 6 pens on my desk. Fine, 2 and 3 mediums. Well, 2 mediums, and I did pick up this pen at the Philadelphia Pen Show, which is the Schoen design with the monarch nib that he's making himself in-house, and that puts a lot of ink on the paper, but it's a lot of fun. The medium on the Mont Blanc Baby is a large, generous medium, but it's fun. So yes, I guess I like when I'm writing and I want to be able to read what I'm writing later, I will use a fine or an extra fine. If I'm just writing for the fun of it, I like to see a lot of ink on the paper.
Makes sense. Eric, we're almost at the end of the show, but before we're ending the show, we always ask our guest to come up with a question for our next guest, as you experienced yourself. So, what question do you want us to ask our next guest? You don't know who's going to be the guest.
And I don't know who the guest is, and you're not going to tell me. No, I see how this is playing. Okay,
but we'll give you a hint. That meant nothing. I was just doing that to confuse you. That was not a hint at all.
I have a question then for whomever might be the next guest, and I guess the question should be: do you know? Let's see. Can you tell me what NaCoWriMo stands for?
That's a good one.
I was going to ask, do you know what NaCoWriMo is? But if they can say what it stands for, they'll know what it is.
I will write it down.
Very good.
Now, does this, we are recording this, you're going to manipulate the footage to make us all look even more gorgeous, and then you're going to publish this. Do you know when you're going to publish it?
Most likely this is live on Wednesday.
So now would be a really good time to wish Stephen Brown a happy birthday.
Yes.
Pretty good.
Not because Wednesday's your birthday, but my calendar says it's Thursday.
Yeah, that's right. But calendars are typically wrong. So I mean, anything anything in the range of February, I accept. I have often suggested to many politicians to be SBREBrown, that you just rename the month in honor of me, but it's so far no one
No.
has responded. But
Well,
yes,
we
it
can
is.
make that. We can do that ourselves.
Yes, we could.
We don't
We
need
could.
permission from
I've already started. People don't fully
Steve
understand me when I say, did you want that appointment to be Steve 13th or 14th? But that's
Yeah.
their problem, not mine. So yes, that's right, the 23rd.
The 23rd. My calendar says your birthday is the 23rd. It also says you're going to be 83.
Yeah,
You're looking great, by the way.
I know.
So
I know it's a rejuvenation. You see, I bathe in Nautilus Bay State Blue, and that somehow it has all kinds of effects. One of them is you keep this youthful, spriteful appearance.
glow.
So that's a little
about you.
secret.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
happy birthday. So
happy
this
birthday,
is the
Steve.
part where
Thank you
Eric
so
will sing a happy birthday song for you. To you.
Happy birthday to you, Mr. President.
All right. Well, Stephen, have fun tomorrow. Or not really tomorrow, but you know what I mean, right?
Yes, thank you.
So enjoy your birthday.
Yes.
And thank you so much for
Thank you so much.
being with us here on the show. We see you next week for the next episode and with a wonderful special guest. I can tell it now. Eric, the guest for next week will be Kate from Bennu. So we will ask her, well, if she can tell what
Aha.
Inco Remo means or stands for. Sorry. So now you know who have to answer to that question. Yeah, of course.
I'll be
Eric,
watching.
thank you so much for being here as a guest with us on the show. It was really lovely to have you
It
here.
was a pleasure to be
And
here.
yeah, hopefully you come back sometime.
Just invite me. You know how easy it was. Do you want to be on the show? Oh, I don't know. Cameras make me nervous. Sure, I'll go.
All right. We will also record the Pen Fan series, and that will be live on the Monday. A lot of fun. Thank you everybody for watching the show on our YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do that. If you've listened to the show on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, make sure to follow us there so you won't miss out on an episode. And once again, thanks to Stephen and Eric for having this wonderful episode of Appelboom Bytes podcast. Bye-bye.